You're saying that the mice who get the high soybean oil diet, which is giving them high omega-6 fats at roughly the levels that, a lot of Americans are eating today, those mice get obese and they get sick compared to the other mice, even though the other mice are eating the exact same total amount of calories.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so a key thing here is mitochondrial function. The mitochondria are the little organelles in our cells that create the energy, the ATP molecules that power everything. And if you mess with their ability to do that, the cell is just going to basically get sick in almost any way you can think of, because it's not going to be able to effectively and efficiently produce its energy. Is that a fair kind of summary of that?
That is perfect, Nick. And
And so,
by the way, I should have told you this at the beginning. I'm sorry, but please call me Chris. No, I don't let anybody call me doctor. So I
all
forgot
right.
to mention that, Nick.
All right, no worries, Chris. What is the connection between omega-6 fatty acids like linoleic acid and inflammation? Why do people say that the omega-6s cause inflammation? What's going on biochemically there?
Yeah, they do. That's another. So there's really, I tell people that there's basically four pathways through which high omega-6 diets drive overweight, obesity, and chronic disease. And it's that they are the seed oils are highly pro-oxidative, pro-inflammatory, directly toxic, which we've already talked about that through the advanced lipid oxidation end products, and then they're nutrient deficient. They don't contain vitamins A, D, and K2 like you would get in traditional animal fats like lard, butter, and beef tallow. So in terms of the omega-6 as being pro-inflammatory, they absolutely are. And, before I describe that, which basically everybody agrees with this, nobody even argues that at all, that the omega-6s are pro-inflammatory. But I want to just put this into perspective. The oxidation that we were talking about, I think, is 10-fold, maybe 100-fold more dangerous than the inflammation. Oxidation is incredibly damaging to the body. And it's much harder to understand, which we just talked about what it does to the mitochondria, for example, and how it leads to devastation and mitochondrial dysfunction, which could lead to obesity and diabetes and cancer. But you have the inflammatory pathway too. Well, so how do we get there? So omega-6 linoleic acid is an 18 carbon fat that is converted by elongase and desaturase enzymes into 20 carbon arachidonic acid. And that arachidonic acid then it gives rise to inflammatory prostaglandins, eicosanoids, leukotrienes, and thromboxanes. These are collectively vasoconstrictive, inflammatory, and cause clotting. All right.
So vasoconstrictive means you're going to have higher blood pressure when those things go up. Inflammation is inflammation. I think everyone kind of has a sense for what that is. And then they're also clotting factors.
Yes. Yeah.
And
you're, in other words, you're putting yourself at risk that day when you consume vegetable oils for heart attack and stroke that day. And this is one thing that we can get into this, about recovery from vegetable oils, but you put yourself at risk, right away when you consume vegetable oils for these reasons. And then just on the flip side, the omega-3s, then they're the opposite.